Hello and welcome back to my Norty's Forgotten Flicks-a-thon. Well, today we're looking at one of the scariest movies in recent memory. It's not a horror movie, it's not a thriller either, it's a drama. Drama directed by the people who brought us The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30. This is Detroit.
Racial tensions running high, under 21.
Directed by Kathryn Bigelow and written by Marc, Detroit is set during the 12th Street riots in Detroit, Michigan in 1967. Specifically, this movie is about the Algiers motel incident that happened on July 25th, in which police stormed the place and held several black people hostage there for several hours. So if you go way back on this channel, you'll see that in December 2012, I reviewed The Hurt Locker on Film Exaggeration, which was Bigelow and Bull's first of 3 collaborations, and you'll see I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't hate it, but the action is confusing, I can't stand the lead, and it's just so long and boring. That said, their second film, Zero Dark 30, was much better, being about the manhunt and killing of Osama bin Laden. But this, I think, is their best. And so, of course, not only did it get no award recognition from the big shows like the Oscars or Golden Globes, but it bombed at the box office, only making about $24 million on a budget of at least $34 million. Now, I can't judge because I didn't see it in theaters, but at least I had an excuse. I checked my bank account and it turns out I was broke. What was everyone else's reason? Now, in terms of historical accuracy, from what I've read, this is pretty close to what happened. Even Melvin Dismukes, the guy played by John Boyega in the film, said it got almost 100% of the story right. Plus, Steven Crowder put out a video saying the movie was SJW propaganda. And since he's wrong on most subjects, I'm just gonna say this movie was pretty accurate. Bull said he did dramatize some subjects and a few names had to be changed, but for the most part, it appears to stick to at least the facts that they have been presented. But let's push aside history. How is the movie on its own? Well, it is long, pushing 2.5 hours. You may think it will drag, however, at least half the time deals with the Algiers motel incident. And that is not only consistently interesting, so much that you won't realize how long it's going on, but it is scary. The whole motel scene may be one of the most horrifying movie moments of the goddamn decade. And if you're like me and had never even heard of this incident before watching it, it becomes even more intense. The direction, editing, and camera work are so good. I think this is what The Hurt Locker was trying to do, where the handheld cam and fast chopping was meant to make it feel more realistic, but it works so much better here. I felt like I was just watching this situation play out for real, helped not only by some phenomenal production design that really made it feel like the 60s, but by solid performances. John Boyega is fantastic. I mean, I love The Last Jedi more, but I think his acting is better in this movie as far as his roles in 2017 went. Do any of you even remember The Circle? But yeah, he plays,
They let you out, Uncle Tom?
No, that's not fair. He's just trying to keep everyone calm in some very racially divisive times. And he does it so well. Probably the most prevalent of the motel guests is Larry Reed, played by Algie Smith, who would later have a role in The Hate U Give, another movie that just missed the cut for this marathon. And the rest of the acting is good too, but I think the guy who steals the show is Will Poulter as Officer Krause. This guy already has resting bitch face, but he is fucking terrifying. Who knew the spoiled brat from Voyage of the Dawn Treader could be so scary?
Now let's not be stupid in this situation. We still have a crime scene here, and you're all suspects. Each and every one of you. Don't look at me, turn around, face the wall.
He's like a fucking dictator, and throughout the whole thing I just wanted to reach in and punch him square in the face. But he isn't a one-dimensional stereotype, and that's what I really appreciate. It treats the story in a very objective way. As racist as this guy is, there is that little shred of humanity in him that keeps him from going into complete supervillain territory. The cops are portrayed less like, let's just kill all the black people because we're racists, and more like they are in this very intense situation and act on instinct. And because systemic racism has taught us that black men are more scary, if we see them, we shoot and or violently subdue them. Which yeah, is racist, but not in a completely hateful way. And even though I totally side with the leads, they aren't portrayed as perfect. The whole thing started because they taunted the police with a starter pistol, and while the police overreacted, maybe doing that during times of a riot wasn't the best idea. It just feels real. They even use real life news footage and pictures to help tell the story. So I guess my favorite scene is, well, the entire motel sequence, but that goes on for an hour, so I guess I'll just pick the advanced interrogation technique, at least the first one. And by advanced interrogation technique, I mean they threatened to kill them execution style. Probably one of the most nerve-wracking scenes I have watched in a while.
Goddamn floor.
You don't have to do this, man.
Why you gotta fuck them, huh? What's wrong with us?
Listen to me. You need to tell me where the gun is and who the shooter is,
swear to you, there's
or
no
I
gun.
swear
There's
to
no
God
gun,
I will
man.
kill you.
There's no gun, man.
Okay.
I don't know nothing, man. No!
Face the fucking wall.
And later on, that scene becomes even scarier. If you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. The only downsides I can find are that I don't really know a lot of the supporting characters very well. They're kind of like side characters in a horror movie, just not hateable enough to where I don't want to see them die. Also, the motel stuff is so damn good that after it's over, the movie screeches to a halt. The final 45 minutes or so involve a lot of talking and legal jargon that can be a little boring, but it does lead to an absolutely infuriating ending. But that's what it's meant to do, leave you frustrated that this happened and still happens today. It was sad to see it bomb, but I'm still shocked it got no award recognition. Maybe releasing it at the end of July was just poor timing. But if you haven't seen it, don't let the 2.5-hour runtime scare you, it's well worth it. Well, next time we enter 2018 with a psychological thriller filmed entirely on a phone. Thank you all for watching, and fuck the police.
This generation.
Won't kick my ass. I'm a black belt in karate. I whoop that ass.